Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the April plan with me for 2021. So let's grab our stuff and get started. So here's a very quick flip through of the month of March. I always begin my setup for the next month in the last week of the current month. So I was filming this on the 28th of March, and I like to do that to give myself some wiggle room. March was a quick month. I was able to keep things simple, and I do that by keeping some consistency in my setups. Now, one thing I have been wanting to incorporate into my setups that was convenient for me to do this month is a memories page. I recently grabbed a photo printer, a mini photo printer for my phone, so that I could do some quick memory planning at the end of every month. And I feel like this is a really fun way to make these planners into something more than just a planner. So once I did that really quick memories page, I'm going to set up my month of April. And because this is a busy month for me, I'm going to be doing my larger calendar design. Now, like I've said in a lot of my bullet journaling videos so far, this is my first year of bullet journaling. And so I like to keep things simple but pretty. So I have all of my grid spacing already set up so that I can quickly refer to those things and just get to creating, so that I can set up my month really in 2 hours or less, depending on how creative I want to be. This month, because I had a lot going on, I wanted it to be a little bit more special. So I did take some extra time to be a little bit more creative. And by doing that, I cut corners by using monthly or weekly spreads that I know already work for me and are really simple and don't have a lot of bells and whistles. Now, the lettering that you have seen me use throughout this bullet journal in my monthly spreads and in some of those year-long reference pages is my own developed hand lettering style. This is a style that I myself have kind of created and tweaked, especially this past year. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I might do some pages for you guys to practice that style. So here you can see that I'm going with my tried but true weekly spreads. This small layout really makes me curate my to-do lists and keeps me from putting too much in a day that I honestly can't get to. And even then, I still put too many things. But I find that I have plenty of room for what I really need at the end of the day. Then here I'm creating my line a day page because I have enjoyed that aspect. I am not been super consistent with it. I tend to forget about it, but when I do remember, I really enjoy it because it helps me reflect on the day and either write something that happened or something that I'm grateful for. Now, I wasn't extremely consistent with a theme this month, but I was definitely keeping Easter and Palm Sunday in mind because that was the upcoming week in my head. So you'll see me use those palms and botanicals throughout. And then I just kind of used colors I liked. Now you'll see me here. I grabbed some watercolor paper because I made mistakes on this particular week 3 different times and I had to keep going back and fixing it. I liked the ultimate result, so I might actually use watercolor paper in this way again, but I went ahead and kept it in here so that you guys could see some troubleshooting in case you make similar mistakes or you even like the end result, and that might give you some inspiration. So I just took some strips of leftover watercolor paper because I find those to be really handy for little things like that. I took a really pretty color that I like, which is quinacridone rose, and this particular brand is by M. Graham. And then I took some gold shimmer watercolor from Kuretake, and I just ran a little bit of that through the bookmarks basically that I was going to tape down later. So the weeks that I did get correct, I went ahead and labeled those while my watercolor paper dried. And then just to make sure that everything was really set so that I could write on top of it, I used my handy dryer that I like to use to really speed up my process. And I messed up again, so I used washi tape put the numbers and called it a day because at that point I was so frustrated and I just didn't have the time. So now I'm putting in this really fast palm theme into my daily spread because Easter was on my mind, and Easter is really important to me in my beliefs system. And I just wanted to be able to think about this throughout the month. And this was a really, really fast way to incorporate that theme in a pretty way that I enjoyed. But I literally did this in less than 10 minutes. And I liked the overall look. It kept me loose. I wasn't worried about making these palm branches look perfect because they don't look perfect in real life. But it also made it look a little bit high impact without having to do a lot of work. So I just took my greens from my color palette here and I layered them. I used my lighter green first and then I went in with my darker green to create some contrast, and I really like the overall look. As a reminder, when I refer to the colors that I use in my color palette, I set up a particular color palette using Tombow markers at the beginning of the year, and I keep those in a special cup that I have handy so that I know that my colors coordinate and I know that I like how they look. And so I don't have to think about colors and color matching as I'm creating all of these spreads throughout the year. It's already done for me. Like I said, this particular month I was feeling a bit more on the creative side, so I took some extra time to make things that I knew I would appreciate while making sure that I cut into things that I didn't find as important, like my weekly spreads, in order to make time for that. So I decided to create a watercolor piece all about Easter, and I decided to do that with a separate sheet of watercolor paper that I would then insert into my bullet journal just to make sure that I didn't ruin the paper and this would give me the effect that I really liked. So I grabbed my M-gram watercolors, which are my personal favorites that I have in my personal collection, and I used the quinacridone violet, quinacridone rose, and the quinacridone nickel gold shade to create a sunset look. And then I went in with my Payne's gray to create the dark silhouette. And I just layered these until I got the pigmentation that I wanted, and by doing a wet and wet technique. And I used my drying gun throughout the process to make sure that my watercolors were set, and that really helps you build color as you go along and speeds up the process quite a bit. As a reminder, you can always check my description box where I will include links to anything that you see. If you are interested in something that I forgot to link, let me know and I will get that to you ASAP. So I'm just going to let you enjoy the process and listen to the music, and I'll meet you on the other side. Once I made sure that everything was nice and dry, I peeled off my tape, penciled in my skeleton, and went ahead and lettered in my sentiment, I guess you could call it. Because it is Easter, I wrote "He is risen," and I used my Tombow Furinosuke in the hard tip to create the lettering. I really like how that piece turned out, and I feel like it adds a lot of joy and color to my bullet journal in a really fun and simple way. So once I did all of that, I just put some adhesive on the back and attached it to my blank page, and I really like how it looks together, especially with that Palm Sunday theme next to actual Easter Sunday, and I really like the overall effect that gives. So once I've done all that, I've pretty much finished the bulk of everything. So I'm just adding in some quick decorative details by using stickers that I have in my stash. A lot of these are from Happy Planner or from Hobby Lobby, and I just put those in as I felt they looked good, and I really like the overall effect. It adds a lot of contrast and pizzazz without having to do a lot. And again, I'm trying to save time while also being functional and pretty. Now, one important thing about this particular month is that we are finally going to be seeing some friends. It's been a long year of COVID, and before that, we hadn't seen our friends in a very, very long time. So, we're going to be having a bit of a reunion with some of our college friends. And I knew that I was going to want a place to document some of those memories. And so I went ahead and just lettered in a quick little sentiment on a 2-page spread to give myself plenty of space for photos. And the place that we're staying in, they've titled it, it's an Airbnb. They've titled it A Shore Thing because it's a lake house. And so I just played on the name of the house and put in a sentiment that I knew would work really well for family and friend memories. So on that first memories page, I went ahead and added another sticker to finish off the page. And here you have my April spread. I really like how everything turned out. I know that it's functional and it's also pretty, which makes me happy. And I know that I can just grab that bullet journal anytime I need every morning to set up my to-do lists, as well as to record some special memories throughout the day. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you did for your April setup, and if you're going to include any of these ideas in your bullet journal. Be sure to subscribe and like this video and stick around for a while, and I will see you guys again soon. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.